Okay, we are back with another College Confessions edition of Your Relationship Sucks! Exclamation point. Getting much better at those, by the way. Like, my introductions are just exponentially better than they used to be. Not surprising.
You know what's not getting better?
What's that?
Your double chin.
Yeah, I've considered this. Look, for people who are following along, still have a double chin situation going on. Not great. Considering just getting a thicker neck as opposed to reducing the double chin. I think the thicker neck will make the double chin appear small. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm not sure. I think you just got some faulty genetics.
I mean, that's theory. In theory, that's a possibility. I don't think. I mean, I'm not sure that's true, but in theory, it is a possibility. But I still feel good about it. So I think that's the next option. I think I'm just going to get a big neck and just have like a neck that like goes out past the jaw and everything. I think then I'll look fine. So whatever. We'll keep people updated on that. That's fine. But today we got another question. Again, I don't know what's coming. The audience doesn't know what's coming. This is actual raw reaction. This is literal raw reaction, live television. That's what we're bringing to you. Live television that you can watch later. It's like DVR. Unbelievable. For people who are, on the podcast or YouTube or whatever, please subscribe and like and review and rate. All the things you're supposed to do. It does help us out. So we do appreciate it. But I'm excited. Let's get into it with initial impressions. Hit me with it. What do you got?
Not sure if I should tell my 21-year-old female, friends with benefits, 24-year-old male, to wash his sheets in between our visits and other hygienic issues, in parentheses, think genitals.
What?
So basically, it's
okay. No, I mean, I get it. Like, I don't understand the phrasing of her question, but I get the general premise of what they're going for here. All right. So, my initial impression, huh? So I guess my initial impression is this is. But I mean, my initial impression is yes. Yes, you should. I'm intrigued by what the question could possibly be. What reasoning does she have for like this to be a question? I don't know. That seems weird. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll find out. If you don't, okay. So when I was first starting to get my now friends with benefits, I knew he was messy and unorganized. It wasn't a problem for me because so am I. But the difference is dirt/hygiene. Yes, my room has papers and shopping bags all over the place. My vanity table is just organized and cluttered, but I have no like dirty or unclean stuff laying around. At first, it was just the sheets. We'd have sex, lube, etc. Other fluids would stain the sheets. I'd come back a week or two later, and those same stains would still be there. It grossed me out, but I brushed it off because I didn't want him to think I was overstepping my boundaries. Then I started seeing Then I started seeing the more unclean side of him.
What she just said. Big red flag. Go ahead.
Once after sex, he brought us food and used condoms. He brought us food and the used condoms were sitting inches away from us. I cleaned them up, washed my hands, etc. And he actually complimented me for doing this as if it's not normal to not want to eat with used condoms in view. A few weeks ago, he had morbid breath. I sucked it up, but afterwards I told myself I'd never deal with that again, which it happened the next time I was over there too, and I asked him to brush his teeth, and he did.
Whoa,
now, every time I go over, his sheets are stained, lube and unopened condom packs, but not the actual condoms, are scattered on the floor or his bed. I feel like it's a turnoff and gross, especially when we're just chilling and not actually having sex. His penis smells sometimes, and it's kind of gross to go down on him. I know that ball sweat is a thing, but I can't make sure to clean down there before but can't he make sure to clean down there before we have sex? I always make sure to clean my area with an unscented, in quotation, wipe to avoid this. I thought it was just common courtesy. I guess he's just an unhygienic person in general. He's just very carefree. He walks outside barefoot, and he does deal with depression on medications, etc. I like him as a person, which is why I haven't ended things, because the sex honestly is not that great, because he's very vanilla and I'm pretty kinky. He doesn't talk during sex, which makes it less enjoyable for me. But like I said, I like him as a person, friend, and I guess the pleasure from sex is a plus. Anyways, I digress a lot. Telling him to brush his teeth is one thing, but I'm not sure about telling him to wipe down his genitals or what to do with his room, clean your sheets, clean your condom wrappers, and lube. I don't want him to think I'm overstepping his boundaries, acting like a girlfriend, etc., and how he would feel if I told him his genitals smell. Could you please advise me on how or what to do, like what the best approach is? And as I said, he does deal with depression, so it could be a factor, or is it his carefree nature or personality?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, look, there is a lot happening here, like a substantial amount happening here. Here's the thing, okay? She legitimately made me laugh 2 separate times when she mentioned depression. Not because depression is funny, whatever, come at me, fuck you, I don't care. The reason that's funny is because she's equating that with she's like, he's got depression and he also leaves condoms everywhere. Those are not the same thing. I understand where she's coming from, but if she's genuinely worried about the depression or thinking that if she thinks that depression is bad enough that it's affecting those types of things, he wouldn't be fucking her. Somebody who doesn't want to get out of bed definitely isn't going to go get you fucking food after you fucked. First of all, he's not gonna bang you because he's gonna be too tired, right? I mean, because again, depression is a real thing. You're like, I don't want to move, right? It's hard to do. My guess is your sex drive is down, right? You probably don't want to have sex. And then if you do, you're not going to go out and get some fucking food. You don't even eat when you have the depression. A lot of people, right? They're like, I don't even want to eat the food I have
it's
next
really
to my bed.
A personal thing. There are really people with high, that are more high functioning with depression. They basically get what they need to done and then don't do anything else.
Right. But what I'm saying is this. That's not what's happening here. Okay. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if this dude has a real, actual crippling depression or even symptoms of crippling depression, those are not things he would be doing. I'm just telling you, if somebody is actually you don't need to have sex and you don't need to go get food after sex. So if somebody is even a high functioning depressive, probably isn't going to be doing those things, right? I get what she's saying, where she's like, well, he's got depression, so he doesn't want to clean or whatever. I don't think it sounds like he's got it kind of under control. So I'm going to take that off the table. If he does have real depression, that's a whole different conversation. But I'm going to assume that depression, but she just keeps mentioning depression. She's just like, maybe it's depression or whatever. And I'm like, well, if you're fucking that concerned about him, then none of this other shit matters. That's why it's funny to me, right? Because she's like, well, his fucking sheet isn't exactly the right way on his fucking bed, but he also has depression. What the fuck? Those are not the same thing. So if you're compared about one, then you wouldn't care about the fucking depression, right? You can't care about both of those things at the same time. You just can't. I'm sorry. They're fucking different. No, they just are. If you care about the fucking depression, then you shouldn't be saying oh, well, should I be sleeping with this guy? You should be like, I should be a fucking friend to him and tell him to get his fucking, help him get over his fucking depression. Go help him go see somebody or go do something and get over the fucking depression. That's what I'm saying. You can't care about this fucking whatever's on his fucking sheets or whatever while you're trying to get pleasure if this person is actually struggling with fucking depression. If they are in the throes of an actual depressive episode, then you need to be helping them with that as much as you can. Otherwise, you're just a with benefits. You're not a fucking friend. You're not being a fucking friend to this guy. So you can't care about those two things together. She's being so fucking flippant about this fucking depression that it can't be a real thing. I'm sorry, it just can't. It just can't. Here's the other reason I know that it can't. Here's the other reason I know. Dear Lord. First of all, this girl's got like 58 nitpicks about this guy. Like, she's just shitting all over this dude. You know what I mean? She's fucking a hippie. Like, understand that, number one. Like, the person you chose to continue to fuck you is a hippie, right? Like, that seems pretty obvious to me. I don't understand. Like, he walks around barefoot. He's pretty unsanitary, like all these things. I'm not saying all hippies are like that. I'm saying what she described is a fucking hippie.
Like a cliche of a hippie.
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
Like somebody who basically wants to
like
be a hippie.
what you think of. Like,
100%. So here's the deal. Okay, couple things. Number one, the reason I know that it's not the depression is because she said to him at one point, she said, I don't want to have used condoms on the floor after we have sex. And later on, she said that we are sitting there with the used condom wrappers, but no used condoms. What does that tell you? That tells you that this guy received some criticism and said, hey, all right, I'll pick those used condoms up, right? That's a dude that listens. Sounds like a real fucking check to me, right? So now she's saying all these other things. His fucking sheets are dirty. He fucking doesn't wash his balls. All these things. She's never said that to him. The one thing she said to him, he immediately stopped doing. Immediately he stopped doing it, right? Like just he's like, oh, great, all right. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to use condoms?
She didn't even directly say anything.
That's what I'm saying.
She just like did it, and then he was like, oh, cool.
Great point.
And then
take a fucking wipe to his balls next time, and he'll start doing it himself. She hasn't said any of these things to this person. Here's the reason I have a real fucking problem with that, okay? Again, number one, she's like, we talked about this on a different episode, but number one, she's like, I'm super kinky. Most people aren't as kinky as they think they are. You know what I mean? Like, they're just not. Like, there's some weird shit that you could do, like, with your bodies. Most people aren't that fucking kinky. You know, if you're like, hey, like, I do anal, it's like, I get it, but, like, let's calm down with, like, that doesn't necessarily mean you're kinky. You know
I'd
what
also
I mean?
like to point out on that note, which is what I wanted to bring up, but I think this is a good segue. If you do plan on experimenting because you think you're kinkier, you are going to need to get very explicit about saying, I don't like this. Stop doing this. Otherwise, you're going to put yourself in a dangerous situation because you're going to do things you don't want to do. Like if she can't tell this dude she doesn't like to sleep on dirty sheets, then you need to be very careful about how you're going to go about like having more different partners
100%.
And doing more experimental sex stuff, because like so this is actually for if you are planning on experimenting or figuring out what that means for you. This is a great conversation to have because this is a lot easier than when you're in the middle of sex and all of a sudden you're like, yep, don't like that, I gotta stop it right now.
Totally agree. I agree with you on everything you just said. I also agree with myself. Stop fucking calling yourself kinky, okay? If you're kinky, you don't have to tell other people that you're kinky. People would just be like, yeah, she's fucking kinky. Like, you don't need to announce it. You just don't. You don't have to fucking justify it. You don't have to tell people, like, whatever. You're like, it's just part of who you are. Like, you just know that the shit you do is different than what other people do. So get that shit out of your head. You're not that fucking kinky, okay? Here's the problem that I have with this girl. This is why this girl sucks, okay? She's letting somebody inside her body, just inside her body. Like she's just like, hey, what's up? Open for business. And yet she won't tell somebody, hey, maybe you should clean up your fucking mess. She will tell that same person who goes inside her body, hey, maybe you could be a little less messy. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
The other thing you
That's
just brought up
bananas.
is she has a genuine problem with his hygiene, and apparently like they're wearing condoms, so I guess he's not physically touching her. There's a layer, but she's putting her mouth on his.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. I'm saying if she has a problem and she's like, this is gross and I'm repulsed by going down on him, then don't fucking do it. Or say like, hey, you know what?
100%.
I'm not going to do this because your balls
100%.
smell. You know, I mean, that's like a self-respect thing too. Like
that's what I'm saying. She has no self-respect. That's what I'm talking about. She has zero self-respect. She's like, I don't like this mess, but come on inside. Like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? Like, what is wrong with your fucking head where you're just like, yeah, that makes perfect sense? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. It makes zero sense.
This is like a, you know, thing that happened that we've in different ways encountered a lot with college age women. And I mean, you know, you can disagree or whatever, but a lot of times, like, there is some thinking in your head, like, to not push your boundaries or, you know, not be as assertive. But like, if you are going to be having sex with someone, you got to practice that, because that's, like I said, it's going to lead to communication.
She said that a couple times.
It's gonna.
She said that a couple times. She said, like, what did she say? She didn't want him to think she was something. Like, shit, whatever. It doesn't matter. But she was like
overstepping her boundaries.
Yeah.
The friends with benefits.
He's fucking coming inside you. He is coming inside you. He is putting a part of him inside of you. That is a fucking boundary. You are letting him cross that boundary, but you're like, hey, you know what? Let me not overstep the boundary and be like, hey, maybe we can run a fucking vacuum over this carpet. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Have some fucking self-respect. Like, this is why I get mad, right? This is the shit where people are like, you know, again, I get it. Like, there are bad dudes out there. Like, there are bad dudes. This guy doesn't sound like a bad dude. This is a girl who's not willing to say anything. And if anybody looks at this guy and looks at this situation and they're like, well, you know, he's doing something, whatever. It's like, no, you need to fucking have some self-respect. If you don't have self-respect, you don't try to stand up for yourself, then I don't have any respect for your situation. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to have this guy. What's the worst that happens? You stop fucking some dude who's not good at sex because he doesn't want to have sex with you anymore? Great. Fuck, bullet dodged. Are you kidding me? Like, that's the part I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, look, if you were like being abused or something like that, like whatever, I get it. You know what I mean? And that's the whole thing. Now, again, I was still in that situation. I tell you to have some self-respect to stand up, but I understand that it could be harder. But if nothing is happening to you, like you're not being coerced, you're not none of that stuff, and you don't have you don't have the self-respect to stand up to somebody and do something about like what your wants are, then I have no respect for you. I just don't. I have no respect for you. Be a fucking adult. Be a person. Be a human being, and stand up for what you want. Like, I don't go around, you know, like doing things that I don't like. You know what? You know why? Because I'm an adult, and I just don't have to do that. Like, it's not that hard. You know what I mean? Like, I don't let other people speak to me in a manner in which I feel that they are, you know, like being, you know, offensive or dismissive or whatever. Like, I just don't let them do it. You know? I mean, whatever. Like I can't stop them from doing that, but I'll just be like, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna have a conversation with you anymore. Like, I'm just done talking to you. I'm done. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm going to go with somebody who's, you know, I'm going to try and sleep with somebody or whatever, and they got like nasty sheets and they got, so first of all, this is like a classic dude thing. You know what I mean? Like, dudes don't do their sheet because they're just like, yeah, whatever, like, who cares? Like, it's fine. But if it grosses you out, absolutely, you should be like, hey, you know what? I let you inside of me. So if you want that to keep happening, and again, this isn't using sex as a weapon, right? That's a different thing. That's a totally different thing, which I disagree with. This is, hey, look, I let you cross one of my boundaries, like an actual like physical boundary. This is a boundary for me. This is something I want. And by the way, and this is how you know you're not using sex as a weapon. You're not saying I'm still going to be with you, but I'm not going to. What you say to him is that, look, if you don't agree with this, if you don't do these things, I'm just going to leave because that means we're not compatible, right?
Yeah.
That's what that means. She has no self-respect. She said, you said it perfectly. She has no fucking self-respect. But again, like she's like, well, I don't really like being on his sheets, but I'm totally fine if he sticks his dick in me. Like, why? What is wrong with you? That fucking logic is so messed up.
She is putting the idea of friends with benefits boundaries, like you don't have the right to say certain stuff unless you're a girlfriend, above the idea of her personal comfort, as you were saying.
Well,
you're not.
I mean,
like,
she's right. She's right about certain things like that. Like, she can't be like, you know, hey, we're whatever, I don't care if you don't want to go hang out with my family, we're going to go hang out with my family or some shit. Like, yeah, she's right about that.
Like, you know, if you want to start
this is not the same thing.
Like in the apartment, she's not like trying to rearrange his furniture or be like, I need a drawer or stuff. She's just basically like, hey, you need to wash your sheets more than once a month, which is unfortunately a very common occurrence with dudes.
Oh, 1,000%.
Like,
I've washed my sheets like 7 times in my whole fucking life. So yeah, 100%.
Even if dudes change their sheets half the time, they just have multiple sheets that all wait, and then all of a sudden
it's just dirty sheets.
There's just like an entire thing of dirty sheets. So I mean, this dude's 24. Yeah, he should know better, but a lot of
No, he's 24. No. Stop right there. Anybody's like, you should know better. Fucking 24-year-olds are morons. Okay, I'm still a moron. You know what I mean? Like, people are fucking stupid. Like, that's the thing. Like, anybody who's like, whatever. Like, look, they are adults, and this is what I'm saying. Like, they should have these adult conversations. But anybody who's like, oh, well, this dude, like, whatever, dude's not even thinking about it. He's literally not even thinking about it because he doesn't care. He doesn't care.
No.
He's 24. He might as well be 16. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just not important. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. Have some fucking self-respect. Yeah. The second you have some self-respect, then I can start respecting your conundrums. But this is not. This is a fucking problem of your own making. That's what this is.
Yes, I personally agree.
Fuck Stop. I don't understand. Why do you still have
you're uncomfortable?
No, you're right. You're right. If you're uncomfortable, don't do anything you're not comfortable with, right? Like that's the story. Don't do anything.
I'm just saying
100%.
She's uncomfortable in this situation. It makes her uncomfortable to enter his house. You're uncomfortable. Say something. Yeah. I don't think I think it's weird to say if you don't want to be. It sounds like this guy, even if she made a joke about it, this guy might start, picking up rappers. Like she seems to look at it, not even be like.
She hasn't said any of this. She hasn't told him one thing.
You haven't cleaned your sheets in since we've been here last, and he'd be like, no, and you'd be like, you understand that is weird, right? There's if she doesn't want to have a conference, I know she needs to have, but I'm just saying.
No, not passive aggressive. I understand what you're saying. I agree with you. It would work. Don't be fucking passive aggressive. Don't give this girl permission to be passive aggressive.
Okay.
Don't give her because this is a girl who will be passive aggressive, right? Don't give her permission to be passive aggressive. I agree with you, by the way. I agree 100%. Like you're dead on. Like it's not that difficult to just be like, hey, this is weird. Like that's kind of gross. 100%. But just fucking tell him. Treat him like an adult. Treat him like a fucking adult. But honestly, why are you going through it? Like, again, I'm not going to tell these people what to do. Like, do whatever you want. Why are you going through this shit for some fucking weak dick game? That's my question. I don't really, does that make sense to you?
I was reading through, there was an edit here.
He's bad at sex. She said the sex sucks. She said it's not good or whatever she said. Like, why are you going through this shit for some weak dick?
Okay, so there's a couple edits. Many helpful comments, many negative ones. This is my first sexual partner, and I grew up sheltered in a religious and conservative household. So? Even our community where we live is like this. They all immigrated from the same country in MENA, MENA. I don't know what that means either. I grew up having to try to learn this type of stuff from the internet, and when I finally left the religion at 18, I decided I wanted to explore my sexuality. I didn't rush it. It happened when I met him in 2020, so I have zero experience, and this is why I made this post. I do not want to put up with this anymore because I know I should have higher standards and simply just don't want to deal with that bullshit. I wanted advice on how to approach him with this.
Fuck the higher standards thing. I hate that shit where people are like, oh, I need to have higher standards, whatever. Fuck you for putting for judging your own standards to be better than other people's. Okay, you can stick to your preferences, but fuck you if you say I need to have higher standards. You know what? Go fuck yourself. Okay, don't judge other people by implication of saying I have higher standards or I should have higher standards. You know what? This guy seems like an okay dude. Doesn't really seem like he's doing that much wrong. You haven't spoken to him. Okay? But either way, none of anything you just read doesn't matter because she already said that his dick game is weak.
So hopefully that
she already knows that.
Yeah, she goes, I also want to address the friends with benefits. A lot of you are telling me to leave because the sex isn't great. In friends with benefits, I see the emphasis on the friends. The benefits are just a plus. Sometimes we don't even have sex. Okay. I mean, whatever.
Again, I'm not judging. I don't, I mean, people do whatever the fuck they want. I don't judge anybody. You do whatever. I don't really care. But that logic doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Then just have then stop fucking. I don't understand. She said there is no benefit. That's the thing. She's like, well, the sex isn't that good. There's no benefit. So just be friends. And again, this is my thing. If you keep bringing up this fucking depression stuff and you think he's really having, then you're not being a friend to him. That's my whole point. Like she's just having the benefit. She's not having the friendship. Like he's not getting anything from the friendship. If he's actually suffering through a depressive episode, she's like, whatever, don't worry about it. Like, fucking deal with it on your own. Like, she's not being a friend. So I don't understand. Like, this girl's so fucking confused. She needs to sleep with somebody better. Like, if this is the first time, she needs to go find somebody who's actually going to rock her world so that she can understand whatever. And maybe the dude who rocks her world, or the girl who rocks her world. I don't know. Do your thing. But maybe they don't smell. Maybe they don't fucking do all this stuff. Whatever. Like, it's fine. But she's confused. She's saying too many contradictory things. I'm telling you, from what I'm hearing, she is somebody who is, she's not being a friend. So really she's trying to use it for the benefits, but she doesn't want to get out because maybe she's scared that she can't find somebody else or whatever. Trust me, you're going to find somebody else. Like, plenty of dudes who would love to have sex with you. I'm just telling you that right now. I would also like
to point out that she almost used the word higher standards instead of self-respect. I do agree with what you're saying. That
have self-respect, absolutely.
Higher standards has an implication of you being better than someone else. Maybe like saying higher standards for yourself, meaning like what she's saying there.
Even still,
I know, but what she's saying there is really she needs to have more self-respect. When it comes to sex stuff. There's a lot of things one person would say, like, I have higher standards and to be treated like that. And another person would completely disagree because it was consensual and the definition is different. That's not like a higher standard. A lot of people are like, well, that's people like let themselves be degraded to that point. That's just called preferences in this.
Some people like that shit. Some people
like that's
some people like getting punched in the face. Think about that. Some people like being punched in the face. This is not an exaggeration. Like, you can say whatever you want. I'm not saying it's a big part of the population. I'm saying there are women,
males and females.
Well, yeah, 100%. But there are women out there who literally like to be punched in the face by the dudes who are having sex with them. Like, think about that. That is a thing that exists, okay? Again, I'm not saying it's a lot of people. I'm not saying like a majority of people. I'm not saying, hey, go try that with your girlfriend. So don't misinterpret what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that's a preference that they have that other people would be like, well, you should have higher standards or whatever. Fuck you. If that's what she wants, like, fine. Then let her find a partner who can do it in a way that she's comfortable with. Like, that's fine. It's going to be a lot harder. I'll tell you that much right now. But you're 100% right. It's called self-respect. Learn to communicate. Another one of your points, which is learn to communicate. Learn to communicate, but also learn to use the right fucking words as part of communication, right? Don't have higher standards for yourself. Fuck you. Don't judge somebody, but have some self-respect and respect yourself enough to know what you like and only say, I'm only going to agree to do things that I like. That's totally fine. That's not having higher standards. That's having self-respect. That's a great point, Mike. 100%.
And I also want to say is she reiterated and talked a lot about how like the friends part was important. Even if you don't want to date this dude, it's just like easy to have sex and kind of like dip your toe in because it sounds like her first sexual partner. If you're friends with someone and this is grossing you out, it's going to cause issues in other relationships for them. Be a friend and let them know that this is gross. You know, like be a friend and you brought this up.
That's great.
And like just on the basis of, look, this is like gonna cause problems for you in the future. You know, we're friends with benefits. You want a real relationship. There's basic things like changing your sheets and throwing away condom wrappers, brushing your teeth, you know, sticking your balls under water before I come over are things that might improve like your relationship quality in the future. You know,
100. That's a great point by you. That's why we keep you around. Unbelievable drop in. That's a great point. That's maybe the best proof that this chick is not being a friend. She's being a shitty friend. Like she's not respecting the friend. This guy should have higher standards. Hey, bro, have some fucking higher standards for yourself and find a friend who's an actual goddamn friend. 100%. I agree. Dump this chick and go find some other chick who's cool with you being a slob. Fuck this girl. I agree with you. 100%. That's exactly what you said. I agree with you. It's a verbatim quote for all the people out there. She's nodding. Verbatim. All the people who are not watching this on YouTube, she is nodding voraciously. Let's call it that. That's probably the best.
Nodded voraciously in my life.
It's probably the best classification for the reaction to what I just said. So I agree with that. That's a great point by you. I think we did it. What do you think? You think we did? I think we did.
I think we did it.
I think we did it. All right, so that's going to wrap this one up. Again, please, check out the podcast, check out the YouTube. Please try to do both if you can. Subscribe, rate, review, all the stuff. Doesn't take that long, but it really does help us out. We really appreciate it. Yeah, you can email us if you have questions of your own, life advice, relationship, whatever you have, especially college confessions. We love college confessions. But anybody that wants to come out, has a good question, whatever, give us all the detail you can, all that stuff. What's the email? The email is
info.yourrelationshipsucks@gmail.com.
All right, so you can hit us up there. Still, again, if you want a Karma Cancer T-shirt, you want a I Got Dennis T-shirt, send us an email to the same place. Definitely go check out those 2 episodes. They're easy to find. They're probably our best episodes. We love them. And we'll be back next time helping more people out. So we will see everybody there.